What made you realize you are not young anymore? Having to scroll for my birth year to show up. I've been out of high school for about as long as current teenagers have been alive. When kitchen gadgets excite you, my 80th birthday was a clue. Waking up with neck pain cause I slept in the wrong position. My knees crack when I get up. Also, I do that weird dead groan while doing it. Coming home from wherever work would send me and trying to hang out with friends. Realizing we had nothing in common anymore beyond the memories. Got out of shower. Sat on bed to put clothes on. Sat on my balls. Fuck it. I had a good run. Hand me my cane. The moment I started considering nine as late and got excited about buying a new type of vacuum cleaner. When a song from my youth plays on the radio and that calls it a classic or an oldie. Adults have read it. What is something about the newer generations that you can't seem to understand? Apparently, despite growing up with technology around them, they don't know how to use computers properly because they focus mostly on smartphones and tablets. Recording yourself. Why do you want to watch a 100 of a concert that you paid good money for through your phone lens? The emails I get from my students aged 18-25 are such a mess of incoherent garbage. I can't tell if they are lazy or if it's an actual literacy issue. And I'm barely older than they are, so if this is a generational gap, it happened quickly. Why do they go to the movies only to scroll through their phone the entire time? Taking public calls on speakerphone and sending voice messages. I manage a lot of fresh graduates in my job, and I don't understand how in the space of just 2 years during COVID we went from great graduates able to operate independently and work things out themselves to graduates who need their hand held. The Terminator's physique was a bad choice by Skynet. That's why version 2 was Robert Patrick. Why didn't Skynet just put flesh over the otherware machines it made and send those back? Fleshy tanks and aircraft. Decent shower thought here. Although they do make a more effective Terminator. So was the accent. Why did an American firm use an Austrian candy? The first Terminator. They didn't like the hillbilly accent. Tragic this never made release. Skynet didn't have the latest chips from NVIDIA. It's hard to cram all that computing power into a skinny, unintimidating body. In universe, Skynet simply had trouble fitting the bulk of a robot inside a human frame. It captured up a resistance fighter that looked like Arnold and realized that it could actually fit all of the hardware inside that frame, so it did. Yeah, but it needed to fit the massive Kyle Reese never figured out until it pulled out the gun. Vampires hating garlic is a rumor spread by vampires to make people taste better. Ha ha ha, that would make all the sense, actually. Sounds like something a vampire would say. Me out as tell them we don't show up in mirrors. After that, let's convince them we can't enter their houses without permission, so they'll be home at night, and we don't have to go find stop. Don't be silly. They bought the garlic thing, but let's not push our luck. Well, it's the flour they're repelled by, so the bulb still being garnished to them makes sense. Wait, did you get that from pirate software too? Garlic does improve blood flow, so maybe the vampires are up to something. You don't eat it to ward them off, you wear it. Maybe it is to save money on garlic, as it is their favorite seasoning. Our low stakes conspiracies. Big garlic is in on it. What are some things that rich, ultra-rich people do which the average person doesn't even consider? There are several single-family owned Montessori schools. Like a family office put together an entire mini school just for their kids and their friends' kids. It became a thing to do when the pandemic hit. Some of them are 100 mobile too, like teaching on the jet all over the world, buying a home for their college-age children. Then they sell the house when their kid graduates. Sometimes this sale pays for college. Having separate sets of clothing in each house, so they don't have to take more than carry-on luggage when traveling. I have several rich friends who are my age March 25th. Their biggest perk is attending every concert and show and buying front row. Not just our area, but if their favorite band is playing across the country, they fly with their kids there and spend the weekend. There are tons of puns that are exclusive to people who speak more than one language. Can everyone see me? Yes, we see. Ya. Where do bad cats go when they do bad Spanish-speaking cats go when they? When did the Japanese start eating eggs? A long time ago. My friend misplaced his really expensive French olive oil and was really depressed about it. I told him that it's we can get him some more, but he was still totally despondent. Nothing I could do would cheer him up. It was like he'd lost his while du leave. No matter how kind you are, German children will always be kinder. It's not the fart speed in Norwegian that kills you, it's the smell explosion. This is a masterpiece. I'm no masochist, but I won't say no to pain o' chocolate. There are people who will play the lottery when the jackpot is 1 billion, but who turn their nose up when the jackpot is only 100 million. I'm not winning it anyway, so I'd rather not win 1 billion than not win 100 million. Odds of winning are 1 in 300 million, so if I'm winning more than $600 million for a $2 ticket, there's some kind of argument to be made. It's simple math. The expected outcome is now much higher, so it would be worth more to play. Is that reward is a competition had a prize of $100, I'd expect less interest than if a competition had a prize of $1,000. As a casino dealer, it's just when it makes sense mathematically. Your cost of entry is the same. It's not to scoff at 100 mil, because if the ticket was 0.1 I would buy in. Dear men, what does your wife do that you find attractive? When I get home from work, she still comes out to the car and greets me. We've been married 20 years. Everything. I really live my wife. You are only ever one hard to open jar from chivalry. Forts and burps not sexually attractive, but attractive in the way that you are so comfortable with me. Being quiet lol, wanting to have intercourse with me if I'm lucky. She beats me into looking at her the way she wants me to. Makes her art. She's an actual full-time artist. When we sit on a park bench, she snuggles in close to me, then I put my arm around her. Going on 25 years of that. You want to act less hard so he will protect you. From what exactly? I really don't know. What's something about male bodies that women don't understand? Sometimes we can be hard but not horny or in the mood for sex. That we enjoy being pampered, touched, foreplay, etc., as much as women. The idea that we're akin to a light switch and will be turned on or feel satisfied with little to no effort needs to go away. Getting kicked in the balls actually hurts all over. Based off a thread where men were sharing their experiences of sexual assault, women don't understand that an erection doesn't equal consent. Morning wood doesn't make me a perv that only thinks about sex. If you only knew the weird stance I'm about to have to take so that I don't piss on the wall, just how truly light of an impact it takes on our balls to buckle us over. There seems to be a large lack of understanding that having muscles for aesthetics and having muscles for strength are two separate things, and that having the aesthetically pleasing superhero body is extremely taxing on the body and the individual's physical health. Why don't guys want to drink or party with their soul like they do with their guy friends? It may be he is trying to find the right level of drunk here. With my wife, beyond that say 2 a.m. she is way too drunk and is just going to fall asleep and possibly get sick. Drinking with her is always a balancing act. He's not as responsible for the safety of his male friends. I tend to be a dumbass when I'm drunk. No one I've ever dated has particularly liked this dumbass, so I try not to introduce them. I once got drunk with my buddies and told them a joke about a hooker singing opera and a glass eye. brought the house down. I thought one guy was going to puke from laughing so hard. When I told my wife the same joke, edit, I'm too lazy to type out how I tell it, but it's basically this joke. For the amount of helicopter landing pads on skyscrapers, it's weird to see them rarely get used. I used to work for a major bank that used helicopters to gather checks from several branches to bring to its data center for batch processing. The helicopters ran twice daily. They used to get used a lot more. Many cities have since highly regulated helicopter traffic within the city. The whole Nakatomi thing pretty much ruined them. They can't be used in Nick anymore due to too many crashes. If you have a problem with a helo, you are now having it in Midtown on the top of a building. I find it fascinating buildings are rated for that, between 7,000 ERLBs, just landing on top no problem. Can't land one on my house, that's for sure. Well, maybe. Also, if we were rich we would see them used more often. It was a requirement for certain height buildings in law for a while. What is something you can't believe real grown-up people take seriously? This is niche but community theater. The drama among grown adults is insane. Worse than when I was in high, y'all. We are singing and dancing and wearing silly costumes. It's not that serious. Flat Earth. Literally don't believe it. I think these people are fictional. Social media in general. Too many people believe every clickbait headline or buy into whatever trend is taking over. Feels like people can't self-soothe and need the validation or something. It's just weird. Getting their facts from some rondo on YouTube who's an expert because they said they are. Social influencers.